Hello, this is McD the Beast, and this is McD Sports 4 coming to you today with my college football coaches on the hot seat going into 2021 season. Before I continue, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe to your channel. Greatly appreciate if you do that. We're trying to grow the channel, so go ahead and do that. So, college football every year, there's always coaches going into the season on the hot seat. This season is no different. Last year, some people thought that teams might be a bit reluctant to fire a head coach because of funding and all that, but we saw what South Carolina and Auburn did. So no matter no matter what circumstances are happening, coaches could still be on the hot seat. I think I have 23 names for you of coaches that I believe should be on the hot seat, and let out of the 130-ish teams in Division One football. So go ahead and let's go ahead and see who I have on the hot seat. So I'll start off with the 10 I have on the Power 5 level. I do not have any in the SEC. I'm going to just go conference by conference. We'll kick off the SEC. I do not have anybody in the SEC on the hot seat. People will make the argument that Dan Mullen at Florida and Coach O at LSU, that their seats should be a bit warm. I disagree with that, but overall, I just do not see anybody in the SEC on the hot seat. I mean, South Carolina has a new head coach, Auburn has a new head coach, Vandy has a new head coach. So no one in the SEC, in my opinion, is on the hot seat. But in the ACC, on the other hand, I came up with three names. In my opinion, you should give a coach at least 3 years, or else he's at a big time program like one of the coaches we do have in this video before you make a determination. But we're going to kick off with Syracuse. Their head coach, Dino Babers. He needs to be on the hot seat. He had a 10-3 season in 2018, but since then things have went south. 24-36 overall record. He's 13-29 in the ACC. He did win his one bowl game appearance. Um, but overall, another lackluster season with like 3-9, 4-8. I think he is gone. I think he needs to probably either make a bowl game or be a very good 5-7 team. So, Dino Babers definitely on the hot seat. Next coach, Justin Fournette. This was a coach last year that I said should have been fired. I have him on the hot seat last year as well. And with Gus Malzahn out there, I was making the argument, pounding the table, saying in some of these chats on YouTube and such that the Virginia Tech Hokies, they should go ahead and fire Justin Fournette and bring in Gus Malzahn. They decided to keep Justin Fournette, but he has to be on the hot seat going into this year. Some people are high on Virginia Tech, thinking they could get to 8-9 wins. We'll see what I think about Virginia Tech as this summer goes on. The spring and summer, I will be producing a Virginia Tech football prediction video. But I have Justin Fournette, 38-26. 25-17 in the conference, 1-3 in bowl games. That's not really that good. To me, I think 6-6 he's fired. I think he has to at least go 7-5 to go ahead and keep his job there. And then Mike Norvell, yeah, it's only one season, but you're at Florida State. They expect winning there. 3-6 in his first year, 2-6 in the conference. Florida State, they have to be better. They got to get better very quickly, in my opinion. Mike Norvell, only one season, but I think you have to put him on the hot seat. I hope he does get at least some time. Willie Taggart, he got fired into about halfway into his second season after the Miami loss. If another bad season, you can see Mike Norvell be gone. In the Big Ten, Jim Harbaugh, any college football hot seat list cannot be completed without Jim Harbaugh. I know they just extended him. 49-22 overall record, 34-16 conference record, pretty good, but 1-4 in bowl games, and he doesn't whenever he's an upset, whenever he's an underdog on the road, never gets the upset. Doesn't really do well in ranked matchups, as not be Ohio State, and he's going to year 7 there. So overall, I do think that Jim Harbaugh should be on the hot seat. Michigan is a blue blood program. They expect to win championships there every year. even though I will make an argument on why maybe that's not the expectation, because I think you have a president that doesn't care about athletics. So I mean, their president has not even been in the football facility since he's been there in 2014 supposedly. So Jim Harbaugh, I think you gotta put him on the hot seat. Jeff Brom at Purdue. If you told me 2 years ago that he'll be on the hot seat list, I would say you would be crazy. But here we go. Jeff Brom, outside of his Ohio State win and his first year recruiting, I think has been an absolute disappointment. You could say in 2019 they were injury riddled. They went 4-8 that year. In 2020, started out the season pretty good, 2-0, but lost four straight. Recruiting has been on the downside. And I personally think I don't think he's gonna get fired unless things go really south, like 2-10, 3-9. But I definitely think going into 2022, if he turns out another 5-7 ish season, he will be on the hot seat. They do want to win there at Purdue. He's 19-25 overall, 14-19 in the conference, 1-1 in bowl games. He's not in the Big Ten East where he has to go up against the Penn States, Ohio States, and Michigan's every year, but but he's in the Big Ten West. I mean, it's Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, Northwestern. You gotta think at Purdue, you gotta go at least 2-2 against that, in my opinion. If you're Purdue, so I think you're a good enough program to go at least 2-2 against that. So I put him on the hot seat, and then Scott Foss, he has to be on the hot seat. Year 4 going into Nebraska, 12-20 overall record, 9-17 in the conference. He has to be on the hot seat. It's year 4. They were expecting big things. A lot of people thought year 2 was going to be the year because they finished the season 4-2 with a very competitive loss to Ohio State. But it turns out a lot of bad teams or not so good teams are finishing. We're having a very good competitive losses to Ohio State that year in 2018. But 2019, everybody thought that was going to be the year. I had them going 8-4. They went, I think, 4-8, 5-7. He has to make a bowl game, in my opinion, to keep his job. So Scott Frost definitely on the hot seat. Matt Wells, he's the only coach appealing here out of the Big 12. I don't think it's fair to pit the Kansas what's ever going on in Kansas. I actually just read something this morning that they are gonna try to go ahead and maybe get the Army coach. I do think Kansas as a triple option team, I think that could be interesting. I think you can at least be competitive in the Big 12 with that. But I have hit Matt Wells on here, year 3. There was some noise after the season that they want him to that some of the boosters want him gone, but they're going to keep him for one more year. But he definitely deserves to be on the hot seat. 8-14, 5-13 in the conference. I think he has to make a bowl game to keep his job, and we'll see what happens there. And then in the Pac-12, 3 coaches, 1 Chip Kelly, 10-21, 10-15 in the conference. He is 0-4 out of the conference. He has not won an out conference game in his 3 years at UCLA. So very interesting stat there. But anyways, Chip Kelly, I think got him on the hot seat. UCLA was expecting big things with him. He's going to year 4. A lot of people think this is his best team going into this year, including me. So we'll see what happens. I think, personally, I think Chip Kelly will get to 6, 7, 8 wins this year at UCLA, and I think he'll keep his job. But if he doesn't, if he misses a bowl game again, I think he's gone. Honestly, they fired Jim Mora for actually going 7-5 every year there. So they expect better there at UCLA, so I got to put him on the hot seat. Justin Wilcox, a lot of people say he's a great coach. 21-21, 11-20 in the conference though, not a good conference record. 1-1 in bowl games over there at Cal. He needs to win, and he did beat Oregon last year. Great in an abbreviated season. I mean, it was kind of tough to watch the Pac-12. It's kind of tough to figure out the Pac-12, but it's Justin Wilcox. He needs to start winning there at Cal to me to keep his job. I think if he doesn't make a bowl game, I could very well see him out of a job. I mean, they fire Sonny Dykes, basically because they knew he was a good coach, but he just wasn't really making bowl games or like just making bowl games. Cal's not like one of those programs that are like up there in echelons. Like they expect to be like really good every year, but they expect to be 8-9 wins every year. They're at the minimum at Cal. So Justin Wilcox, he needs to start winning, and then Clay Helton once again, sort of like Jim Harbaugh. I personally don't think Clay Helton should be fired as long as he's at least winning 8-9 games. Even though it is USC, they expect to win championships there every year, so maybe that was a bit of a wrong comment there. But I think personally, I think USC is gonna have a good year this year. But Clay Helton, you got to put him on the hot seat. Your hot seat list is not complete without Clay Helton. As I said last year, 45-23, 36-12 in the conference. He wins a lot of ball games in the conference, so he is pretty good in the conference. And then 2-3 in bowl games. There at USC, but he does dominate the conference at 36-12. That's a dominating record right there. So those are the 10 coaches in the Power Five that I think should be on the hot seat going into the 2021 college football season. Now to the Group of Five coaches. Obviously, a lot more Group of Five coaches. We'll kick it off with Dana Holgorsen. I think he has to be on the hot seat. Houston pried him away from West Virginia, and he was decent in West Virginia. I know some of the West Virginia fans were a bit annoyed with him. They didn't really sit there and act like it was down the world losing him, but he went, I think, 81-60, something like that at West Virginia. So I mean, he had a decent record. I think he had a bit of above a 500 record in the Big 12 there. Um, but third year going to Houston, 7-13, 5-9 in the conference, 0-1 in bowl games. They played in the New Mexico Bowl there, and they had a tough start to the season because a lot of teams they were facing had COVID issues. So I don't even did they not even start their season to October maybe? Not because of them, because of the teams they were facing, but yeah, he has to start winning there at Houston. I think he can start winning there at Houston. Maybe not competing for a American championship, but I think he could get to 7-8 wins there this year at Houston. I really do. Butch Davis at FIU, 23-21, 14-13, 1-2 in bowl games, 14-13 there in the Conference USA. And you're probably wondering why is he on the hot seat? Because that's not a bad record. Those aren't bad records at all. Um, but the issue is there at FIU has been a downward slope. Started off winning 8-9 games a season, had a 6-7 season, called their way into a bowl game there in 2019, and then in 2020 they didn't even win a game. I think they only played 5 games, but they went 0-5 and weren't really in any of them. You could say it was because of COVID, but I think FIU is heading in the wrong direction. And I think Butch Davis should be on the hot seat. I mean, he's had enough tenure there that he deserves to be on the hot seat. I think he's going into year 5 there, if I'm not mistaken. Dana Dimel there at UTEP. There's no way a hot seat list should be completed without Dana Dimel on it. 5-27, 1-19 in conference. I know he's at UTEP, and UTEP is pretty hard to win at, but there is no way that I mean to me like you gotta expect a little bit better. He had stints at Wyoming and Houston years ago that he didn't do that good at. Dana Dimel. Then he was on the Kansas State coaching staff forever with Bill Snyder. Um, so overall, Dana Dimel got him on the hot seat going to year 4 there. That is just unacceptable. 5-27, 1-19 anywhere. Rick Stockstill. If you told me a few years ago this guy would be on the hot seat, I would laugh at you. But I am gonna have to put him on the hot seat. Middle Tennessee. If you look at his records, 94-92 overall, 71-45 in the Conference USA, 2-6 in bowl games. Maybe you don't like that 2-6 record, but I mean, he's done pretty good things at Middle Tennessee, but they've been heading in the wrong direction lately. They had I believe, a 3-6 season, if I'm not mistaken, in 2020. The year before, he went 4-8. They're heading in the wrong direction. I personally do not know the talent there at Middle Tennessee. I don't know what they're projected to be. For all I know, they could be projected to win the whole conference, but the whole Conference USA, but the team's heading in the wrong direction. He's been there for a while. Maybe time for a new voice here at Middle Tennessee. I do think he is a good coach, Rick Stock, still, but I think it might be time for a new voice. So I put him on the hot seat. He might not necessarily be on the hot seat, but another bad season. I do think his seat deserves to be at least a bit warm. Uh, Only coach I threw one in the hot seat in the Sun Belt is Jake Spavital. Man, Jake Spavital. I believe that's how you pronounce it. 5-19, 4-12 at Texas State, heading to his third year. Um, Listen, the Sun Belt right now is puffing their chests out. I mean, they have Coastal Carolina, Louisiana, Appalachian State. Those three teams, I think, all have chances to win the Sun Belt, and all three are pretty damn good teams. You also have teams like South Alabama and Arkansas State. I mean, Arkansas State, they moved on from Blake Anderson. Even though the report, I mean, I know they mutually decided to part ways, which I do believe that's what happened there. They just mutually decided to part ways. But they thought, I mean, Arkansas State, they thought 8-5 plateau at 8-5, which was Blake Anderson. I mean, he did have a 4-7 in 2020. I think that was an aberration. They went and got Butch Jones, you can say all you want about Butch Jones, but he won games at Tennessee to a degree. So the Sun Belt, I mean, if you're a Sun Belt team, if you're suffering like a Texas State that's been struggling the past few years, I mean, you got to go ahead and possibly look at getting upgrades anywhere possible, and it might start at the head coaching position. If he has another bad year, I can see him gone. So Texas State, we'll see what happens this year, but I do think he should be on the hot seat. Not so much because of him, even though 5-19, 4-12, and not good records at all. But you're in the Sun Belt. The league is rising. Now we move to the MAC. Four coaches in the MAC that I think should be on the hot seat. We start off with Scott LaFleur, uh, over there at Bowling Green. I don't know if I pronounced. Excuse me, I did pronounce that wrong. Scott. Oh, Scott Loeffler. That's how you pronounce it. He has the same last name as that senator down Georgia. So I was like, how you pronounce that name? Because she was in the news about the WNBA. But anyways, um, Bowling Green going to year three, 3-14 overall record, 2-11, just not good. I know it's Bowling Green. I mean, Bowling Green used to be really good in the mid 2000s, especially when I think, Urban Meyer was there. But hasn't been the same since. My Maryland Terps actually play Bowling Green this year. So we'll see what happens there. I expect us to win that game. But Bowling Green, I know things have not been good there lately, but Scott Leffler, he needs to be on the hot seat. Tom Earth, I believe that's how you pronounce it. 1-17, 1-13 in the conference. Glad to see if Akron get a win this season, unlike last season when they went 0-12. But you gotta put someone on the hot seat that's 1-17. That's just not good enough. 1-13 in the conference. And then Chris Creighton over there at Eastern Michigan. He's been there for a while, but if you look at the record, 30-51 overall record, 18-36 conference record. 0-3 in bowl games. He has gone to 3 bowl games, but I know Eastern Michigan are not really a well-funded program, and maybe that's why they're hanging on to him because they know they could get him for cheap or something. But you gotta think. I mean, he's going to year 9 if I'm not mistaken, year 8, maybe. But I mean, you gotta think that it's time for a change there. I mean, 30-51, I mean, if you do that any Power 5 program besides maybe a Vandy or a Kansas, you're probably getting let go. So, I got him on the hot seat. And then Thomas Hancock going to year 3 there in Northern Illinois. Before Thomas Hancock got there, Northern Illinois was a really good team. It was usually between them and Buffalo there at there in the MAC. But ever since Thomas Hancock's got there, the wheels have fallen off. 5-13 overall record, 4-10 in the conference. They did not win a game at all in 2020. They were a god awful team in 2020. In Northern Illinois, they were good too in the mid 2000s as well. So I do think they expect winning there in Northern Illinois. So another bad season, I can see them gone. Now we go to any independents. Walt Bell over there at UMass, 1-15 overall record. I got him on the hot seat because of that record. I know it's tough there at UMass, but I got him on the hot seat. Randy Edsall, they didn't play last year at UConn. That might have been the best case scenario there for Randy Edsall. He's Mr. UConn himself. He also coached for my Maryland Terps, and he didn't do that good with my Terps, but I only took the numbers from his second stint there at UConn's first stint. He was leaving UConn winning 8-9 games. Since he's came back, 6-30 overall record, 2-22, and when conference record when they were in the American. Now they are just independent because the rest of those sports are in the Big East. I think he has to at least get a few wins there this year if he wants to do anything, and it might be really tough, especially as an independent. And then Doug Morin, once again, I know New Mexico State, the funding's not really that good there, but I mean, 23-64, 10-22 record back when they were in the Sun Belt a few years ago. 1-0 in bowl games. He did win the one bowl game he took them to, but to me, 23-64, I mean, you're getting fired anywhere if you have that type of record. So, I mean, you got to throw Doug Martin on the hot seat, in my opinion. So, anyways, those are my coaches on the hot seat. 23 of them. Comment down below. Tell me if you think I missed a name that you think should be on the hot seat. Tell me your opinion about these coaches. I always like hearing from everybody. Thanks for watching. McD the Beast signing off.